What's the point after all? If none of your efforts move the needle, maybe you should give up. You have sent so many job applications and nothing has worked. With every application you send out, a silent plea for an opportunity chips away at your vault of hope. You dread opening each email, knowing too well the line that awaits within. And sometimes, oddly enough, you find yourself wishing for that rejection email instead of no feedback at all. I know you can relate because I too can, but I've come out on the other side many times. Do you know where the problem lies? Your CV. And that's why I've taken over a month combining all my experiences that I've worked, consulted HR experts on LinkedIn, some at a fee, and conducted research. So I could come on here and not tell you what to do, but show you. In the next few seconds, I'm gonna show you how to write a CV that'll get you remote jobs if you do not have any experience or a degree. The frameworks and tips that will be shared here can also be used by those who possess degrees, experience, or are switching careers. And of course, I'll also share where to apply for jobs. You'll find a wide range of opportunities, some paying $1,800 per month, which is 34,000 rands, to $3,000 per month, which is 55,000 rands. If you don't have a degree or experience, you have no business making your CV to be more than one page. Writing your high school subject in point form or including your marital status, local languages, hobbies, etc. will not get you the job. Start your CV with your name and surname. Ditch the curriculum vitae of so and so. Next, put your contact details. If you're applying for a remote job for an international company, make sure to use your email as your primary contact. If you're applying locally, use both your telephone and email. Local companies are more likely to pick up a phone and call you, but international companies tend to prefer communicating via emails. Next in this section is your address. If you're applying for a remote job for an international company, put your country and the nearest big city. For example, I'm from Eshowe, KZN, South Africa. What I would put is South Africa, Durban, even though Durban is like 1 hour 45 minutes away. Why? Because first of all, recruiters don't care, and if they do care and they wanted to know more about your location, they can find more information about Durban than Eshowe. If you have noticed, most remote jobs, they have different countries and only big cities, because it does not matter if the recruiter is from the US or Europe. So you putting Gqeberha or wherever you are from does not change much in the recruiter's mind. But if you are applying for a remote job locally, then put the exact location. For example, I would put KZN Eshowe. Another important information to include in this section is your LinkedIn profile. This is a topic on its own, but it is highly recommended to include your LinkedIn. However, only include your LinkedIn if there is something there, because a LinkedIn profile is an extension of you. So if you have just created it today, it's just your name and surname, no education history, no banner, no profile picture, nothing, then don't, because it sends the wrong message to the recruiter that you don't care. I have personally gotten interviews before, even as a student, without any LinkedIn profile, but it is highly recommended. Even the recruiters I spoke to do recommend that you include your LinkedIn profile, provided it has some information. If it's empty, you don't know what to put there, rather not include it. Section 2, personal statement or objective summary. Your statement should include 4 key parts: descriptive term, profession, duration, and core proficiencies or key strengths. Descriptive term, use any word that describe you professionally. For example, let's say you're applying for a marketing strategist job. You could use visionary strategist. Other words that you can use could be innovative, energetic, passionate, etc. Just any word that describe you professionally. Second part, profession. Here, let's say maybe you were applying for a customer service job. If you had experience, you could say customer service expert or customer service professional. But if you don't have experience, you can say customer service enthusiast or whatever other word or similar word. But you see the difference: expert, professional versus enthusiast. Using the customer service example, let's combine the first part and the second part. I could say solution oriented, customer service enthusiast. Solution oriented is the descriptive term, because if you are working as a customer service representative, you will be providing solutions to your customers. And instead of saying customer service expert or professional. Because I'm assuming that you don't have experience, then I said enthusiast. Third part, duration. Here you mention the number of years of experience in that industry, but since we are assuming that you don't have any experience, you can instead use with an interest in, or if you have informal experience or maybe have taken a short course in that particular field or industry, then you can say with a background in. Let's look at an example by combining all three. Assumption number 1, you have no experience. So it could be solution-oriented customer service enthusiast with an interest in inbound sales, for instance. Assumption number 2, you have some informal experience, or maybe you've taken any short course in that industry, or maybe you're a student. You could say solution-oriented customer service enthusiast with a background in inbound sales. Fourth part, key strengths or core proficiencies. Here mention all your specialties or your key skills. Make sure they are aligned with the role you are applying for. You can check the job description, see the skill that they've listed, pick up the skills that you possess, put them in your personal statement. Of course, not word for word. Let's look at an example. Personal statement 1 with all 4 parts combined. Solution-oriented customer service enthusiast with an interest in inbound sales, proficient in active listening, clear communication, conflict resolution, and customer relationship building. So you see, after inbound sales, I just started listing skills that are related to the customer service role. Personal statement 2, solution-oriented customer service professional with a background in inbound sales, skilled in problem solving, conflict resolution, and interpersonal skills. Or let's say you're applying for an invisible technology data trainer role. The personal statement could be driven artificial intelligence enthusiast with an interest in enhancing AI abilities, possessing heightened self-awareness for interpreting nuanced context, thorough and diligent reading abilities with a meticulous focus on accuracy and adherence of grammatical rules. This is the actual job description for this role. Here I've touched on 3 skills mentioned in the job description, which are diligent reader, self-aware interpreter, dedicated grammarian. You can add more keywords or subtract, but make sure your personal statement makes sense and it's not just a string of keywords, because at the end of the day your CV will be checked by a real human being, so it must make sense. This framework can be used for any job or industry. Section 3, experience. If you don't have a degree or experience, you may be tempted to think this section is irrelevant to you, but no, you can still include it, and there are 2 ways to go about it. The first one is to turn your volunteer work into experience, because it is an experience, you were just never paid for it. But of course, this only works if your volunteer work is somewhat related to the role you are applying for. North American and EU companies tend to value volunteer work more than African-based companies. Let's say, for example, you are in a church committee, and from that you have learned multiple skills such as clear communication or conflict management. You can write that as your experience, and I'll show you how. Or maybe you're applying for a data AI trainer role for mathematics or finance, and in high school you used to teach or tutor your classmates or explain stuff to your classmates. That is experience. It all depends on how you package it. The only time you should separate your volunteer work and experience is when you have enough experience as per industry standards. Under experience section, try to write every point using the XYZ method. You accomplished X measured in Y by doing Z. For example, X contributed in organizing 10 events aimed at serving the community. Y, by volunteering in the church committee for 2 years. Z, engaged with the community members while assisting in registration and answering inquiries. Through collective effort, a sum of X amount was successfully raised. In your CV, this would be one sentence. Of course, I broke it down to show you. Write in bullet points and include the timeline of your volunteer work or experience, starting with the latest one. Second option is to elaborate on your key skills instead of experience. This is suitable for you if maybe you don't have enough volunteer work to write as experience, but you do have certain skills acquired from doing different things. If you choose this option, then you don't have to use the XYZ method. Let's look at an example. Let's say you were once part of a debate team in school and therefore can now communicate communicate better. You can write excellent communication, cultivated persuasive communication skills through active participation in the debate team, consistently articulating compelling arguments, and fostering constructive dialogue in a competitive environment. Let's say at one point in your life you sold Herbalife products or any other product and can now negotiate better with clients or customers. You could add sales negotiation as a skill and maybe write deepened my negotiation acumen through selling Herbalife products, balancing client needs with business objectives, resulting in amplified sales. These are just examples, but make sure to only include skills that are transferable to the role you are applying for. Don't just write a bunch of skills. Write a skill and elaborate, because anyone can write excellent communication, but does that mean they are excellent communicators? No. When you elaborate how you acquired that skill, it makes it more believable that okay, this person indeed has this certain skill. Section 4, education. If you don't have experience or a degree, write your high school education. Include the year of completion or when you started versus when you completed. Also include your majors. For example, if you were in science stream, you could write majored in physics, mathematics, life science, and then add other subjects. This is important for international companies. If, for example, you were applying for a writer role and you majored in geography and history, it already shows the recruiter that you are interested in a lot of writing or theory, so maybe you will make a perfect match for the role. If you apply as invisible technology for training AI in mathematics and your major were physics, mathematics, or accounting mathematics, it shows the recruiter that this person is already mathematically inclined, therefore maybe they will make a perfect match for the position. But if you're applying locally, remote job, but locally, there is no need to say majored in this and that, because the local companies know the structure or the system of your country, so you can just list all your subjects. But if you're applying internationally, make it clear, especially if your high school subjects are somewhat related to the role you are applying for. For international remote jobs, also convert your average into a GPA format. If you did 3 subjects, which will never be the case, but I just want to simplify, and you obtained 56%, 65, and 45, to calculate the GPA, you take the sum of your percentages divided by the total of the original times 5 or times 4, whichever grading system you are using. In your CV, state the GPA scale used, such as 3.7 out of 4 or 3.7 out of 5. Don't just write 3.7, because the recruiter can interpret that as 4.0 or 5.0. If your GPA is very low, do not include it. You will still get a job even if your GPA is not there. Only include your GPA if it's really good and you think it can add to your CV. Once you've written a CV, you can apply for jobs from this website suitable for both inexperienced and experienced. You will never get back the time spent watching this video, ever. So make it count. Don't let this be another video that you've just watched and will forget about. Go revamp that CV, create one if you didn't have, send in that job application, do something. I'm rooting for you.